this is my review of Sonic X. Okay, so in this episode, for lack of a better term, all hell breaks loose. So it's been a couple of days, weeks, I don't know, but it's been a couple of whatevers since Cream and Cheese have gone outside, and they're starting to go a little stir crazy. And they take the opportunity while Chris is at school to sneak outside and make a flower crown, which Tails sees and realizes is most likely for her mom, since she realizes that that's kind of Cream's coping mechanism for when she misses her mom. She plans to make a flower crown for her mom and give it to her one day, but that day may never come because they're currently stuck on Earth. Sonic, who overhears all of this in the midst of taking a nap, decides to help Cream out by picking her some rare flowers from a rare oasis deep in the mountains. And sure enough, takes a map off of Chuck's wall and goes out to find the flowers. Meanwhile, Mrs. Thorndyke is home and is revealed to not be able to cook. And she decides that since she's home, she's going to throw a big gathering in celebration of her son. For whatever reason, she wants to just celebrate the rare occasion that she's home and is able to spend time with her son. So she decides to throw a big gathering and invite a bunch of people. She decides to invite the Mia family, but she also invites Chris's Uncle Sam, who we've already met because we already know him. He's revealed to be the leader of the S-Team. So we already know him. We already know he's familiar with Sonic. And this can only end one way. But in any case, everybody heads out. Everybody is getting ready for the party. And Cream decides to chip in as well without anybody noticing, obviously, since she's kind of just sneaking around all over the place trying to help people out. But during the day while they're doing all the prep work, Chris mentions that he's having a party to some of his friends, and Mr. Stewart, who overhears, decides to invite himself, and with the ulterior motive of trying to expose Sonic and his friends, because that's what he's being paid to do as part of the military. So he's going over to Chris's house to spy on him, basically. But in any case, everybody is now getting dressed up for the party. At which point, Chris and Chuck realize that they haven't seen Cheese all day, as well as Sonic, and realize that Cheese is trying to help them decorate. So they distract Mrs. Thorndyke and go and give Cheese a bit of a scolding for what's going on. At which point it's revealed that Mr. Talkett actually knew the whole time, and isn't even remotely surprised when he finds Cream and Cheese helping out. So Mr. Talkett is enlisted to actually help keep the secret, at least for the time being, from Ella and Chris's mom. But that doesn't wind up panning out, at least somewhat. So throughout the episode, Cream and Cheese try to help in secret, but all they wind up doing is making a mess and making things worse. And Ella starts panicking because she thinks she's starting to lose her mind. It just progressively escalates throughout the episode. Eventually, Cream catches a conversation between Mrs. Thorndyke and a producer of one of the movies that she's planned to star in. And apparently she has to leave right that minute to make the flight, so that way she can go out and start filming the next morning. And is very remorseful in doing so because she actually wanted to spend time with her son, which she can't do now because now she has to leave. So she unfortunately has to leave without saying goodbye because nobody can find out where Chris is because he's busy trying to find out where Cream and Cheese are. And sure enough, he got the rest of the gang grouped in too, except for Sonic, who is still looking for the oasis. And he does eventually find it, and what comes back at the worst opportune time. We'll get to that in a minute. But in any case, as everybody tries to figure out where Cream and Cheese are, eventually Mr. Stewart comes over, and through a conversation between him and Ella, Chris eventually finds out that his mother actually left and is going to go see a movie, and is a little sad because she left without saying goodbye, and is very upset about that fact. Something he brings up to Sam when he comes over a few minutes later. But in any case, things start to hit the fan shortly before Sam arrives, because eventually Sonic does come back with the flowers that Cream needs for her crown, and Cream accidentally exposes herself by letting everybody know that Sonic has come back with some flowers. Though Chris does defuse the situation by claiming it to be a toy, although Ella is pretty convinced that Cream was just talking a few minutes ago. Meanwhile, Sam finally comes over, and we find out that he's a little obsessed with speed. Just a little bit. He's a little obsessed with the whole idea of being the fastest. He lists all the ways that he's been the fastest throughout his whole life. He kind of lives his life by speed, and also points out his resentment towards Sonic because Sonic was the only person who was ever faster than him, and it pisses him off. So yeah. But in any case, he asks where his sister is, and Chris explains that she left to go see a movie without telling her son first, and this is what causes Cream to finally snap and expose herself fully in front of everybody, pointing out that yes, she knows full well that Mrs. Thorndyke loves her son, and points out that at the very least he can talk to his mom whenever he wants, something that she resents because she can't talk to her mom at all, and then leaves in a huff. At which point Tails and Amy come in shortly after, and everybody kind of just figures out that yes, everybody's living here. So yeah, it's a little interesting. Although Mr. Tanaka does dismiss it all as ventriloquism, so they might buy it, they might not. It's a little shaky. It's at this point where everybody decides to leave. Mr. Stewart leaves first, having gotten nothing with his little hidden camera that he had stuffed in his pocket. And he decides to head out, claiming that he has papers to grade, and leaves. Sam also leaves, pointing out that he has to go too, and he goes back to the precinct. Meanwhile, Ella also leaves, a little flustered and confused as to what exactly is going on, believing herself to have gone crazy. At which point, Mr. Tanaka suggests that they let her in on the secret, and sure enough, she's very accepting of the fact that there are anthropomorphic animals living in her house, or at least the house she works at, and even develops a bit of a motherly relationship with Cream, which is a little interesting. Because I think she just likes having somebody help her around the house, and now that Cream is able to fulfill that role for her, she now has kind of a little daughter-ish figure that can now help her out around the house. And also now that Ella has been clued in as to what exactly is going on with Sonic and his friends, now Sonic and the gang have the run of the place basically. But Chris is a little down about it because he believes that Cream hates him because of what she said, pointing out that she does resent him a little bit because he's able to talk to his mom whenever he wants, whereas she cannot. And she points out and Sonic helps him out by pointing out that it'll be okay, and eventually she will forgive him because she's not the kind of person who holds grudges. And sure enough, a few minutes later, she comes in with a flower crown she made specifically for Chris, and gives it to Chris, with Sonic pointing out that she only gives out flower crowns to people she completely trusts and considers her closest friends. So that cheers Chris up quite a bit. But and she also mentions that she's going to give one to Ella, which she does. So yeah, overall, everybody in the group that live in the house, with the exception of Mr. and Mrs. Thorndyke, who aren't there often enough to know, have been clued in on the fact that Sonic and his friends have been living under the house for however long. I mean, Mr. Tanaka is implied to have known the whole time, but Ella finally figures it out in this episode, and she's happy to just have somebody to hang out with and help her around the house. So now that she's just happy that Cream is able to help her out around the house now. That's mainly what it is. That was mainly what this episode was. It was just a bunch of people finding out that yes, Sonic and his friends are living at the house now. It's questionable as to whether or not they actually know, since Mr. Tanaka did dismiss the whole thing as a ventriloquist act he's been practicing. But it's implied that they know now. So it's implied that Sonic and his friends are known by everybody who lives at the house, as well as everybody who kind of knows-ish, but doesn't really know. Like for example, Sam knows that Sonic is a thing and has been hanging around the house, but also doesn't realize that Sonic is living in the house. He sees Sonic out the window at some point in this episode, but that's about as far as it goes. yeah, overall, that's what this episode was. It was just everybody becoming aware of the fact that Sonic and his friends are now living at the house and have been for a while. So, in any case, if you guys have indeed enjoyed this episode of Sonic X, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, if you want to help support the show, then be sure to check out my Patreon. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get a bunch of cool perks that I'm right away saying thanks. So be sure to let me know in the comments section down below if that's something you're interested in. Be sure to check those out. Either way, if you have a plan that you like, then be sure to check it out. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.